Now for our movers and shakers segment, where we will be tracking a whole host of stocks which are buzzing in trade and which you need to keep on your radar. First up, we have Vinny, who's actually going to kick it off with the entire railway segment. RailTel is what you're watching, Vinny.
Absolutely. RailTel is what I'm keeping an eye out on, buzzing away in trade. Around a 700 crore total order win is what they've received. There were several orders that came in yesterday post-market hours. Now, the total value is 713 crores. This is from Bihar Education Project Council. Two big ones in that I'll highlight. That's also all of this is from the Bihar Education Project Council. So, first one is for procurement, supply, installation of smart classrooms for government middle school. That is at around 262 crores. And other than that, there's another one for government secondary schools as well. Similar, procurement, installation, supply of these smart classrooms. So that is what is coming in for 257 crores. So two big order wins, or approximately 500 crore adds up from these two. And then there are several smaller order wins and letter of acceptances that have come in here. And that is why today we're seeing RailTel is managing to still hold on to gains of almost 4%. But yes, that's RailTel. But let's talk about Voltamp. That's also in focus today, and that's on the back of the block deal that's happened. Nimesh is joining in with us to give us details.
Well, the stock is under pressure today. The stock is under pressure today after a large block. The promoter sold 7.8% stake via block deal today, and it was at a 2.5–3% discount to yesterday's closing price. What is interesting is after today's block deal, the promoter holding will fall below 30%, and now there is a 2-year lockup, according to the term sheet that I've seen, that now for the next 2 years, the promoters are not going to sell any further stake in the company. Interestingly, in 2023, the promoter had sold 12% stake via block deal, and after that, the stock had actually seen a big re-rating, was up almost 3 times and hit an all-time high of almost 14,800. From there, it has actually halved. Now, in that period, from the last block to now, if you look at the earnings as well, the revenue has been pretty much flat, or it's risen just 11% since the last time, since I'm comparing from 23 onwards. Whereas the margins have fallen by almost 100 basis points and the profit is up just 16%. Interesting to know, we'll get to know as to who all bought in today's block deal, so disclosures would be interesting. But the key question would be, like how it happened last time, can the stock re-rate from here as well after the big block? And remember, this is the last block and promoters are not going to sell any further for the next 2 years from here on.
Take that point, Nimesh, and very well raised as well. Can it lead to another round of re-rating because the promoter is not selling any more from here on? So we'll pose that question to Vamakshi itself. Vamakshi, that's what's happened with Voltamp. But while you speak about Voltamp, also fill us in on what's taking place on Quality Power.
Well, absolutely, Mangalam. The step-down subsidiary Endox Energy has received 2 significant orders. Now, keep in mind that Quality Power owns 51% of Endox Energy Turkey through its subsidiary Quality Power Engineering Projects, and they will be supplying fax system to a European customer for a steel plant, and the combined value of both these orders is around 75 crores, and this order will be executed over the period of the next year is what the company has said. Now, just to give you some perspective, now how big or small is this order for Quality Power? Now, keep in mind that Endox, which is the step-down subsidiary for the company, the order book stood at 175 crores in the first quarter. So, therefore, this 75 crore order is worth almost 43% of the current order book for Endox. Now, overall, in the context of the company, which include the order book includes the orders from Quality Power, Endox, as well as Meru, it accounts for nearly 10% of the current order book. Now, how will this actually translate to the margins then? This is just a back of the envelope calculation. Now, Endox PBT margin is at 27%. Now, assuming that this order is executed at the same PBT margin level, the overall profit from this order could be around 20 crores, and out of which Quality Power's 51% share could be around 10 crores. So, approximately 10% of FY25 PBT could come through. Again, this is back of the envelope calculation, but so this is how the order shapes up in terms of Quality Power, and resultantly the stock is reacting to that.
Okay, all right, Vamakshi, thanks very much for that complete outperform on this particular counter. So currently at around 344 odd rupees. But we have Rima now on Infosys.
Thanks so much for that. So Infosys is surging on the back of the company saying the board will meet on the 11th of September to consider a buyback. But the backdrop of the stock rise is also its underperformance. The stock is down 20% on a year-to-date basis. This would be the company's fifth buyback since its listing in 1993. Now, Morgan Stanley says that despite there is so much uncertainty in Indian IT, they find the timing of the buyback fairly interesting and in that sense positive. The big question is how much will the company do? Morgan Stanley's estimates are about 10 to 14,000 crore would be the buyback size. And this pretty much ties in with even what a lot of the other analysts I spoke to. Historically, the buyback size has been at an 18 to 25% premium, and the total amount that they buy back, according to Morgan Stanley, will be about 1.3 to 2.1% of the total shares. Now, after Infosys, the question is who next? Because some of these large IT companies like TCS, Wipro have been very regular with their buybacks. So Morgan Stanley points out that both of them are eligible for a buyback. They completed their buyback in 2023. TCS in December 2023, Wipro in July of 2023. So that 1 year cool-off period, which you need between two successive buybacks, is over, and therefore the investors are watching out whether these two, Wipro and TCS, come out with a buyback announcement. Tech Mahindra and HCL Tech have been pretty irregular and very infrequent with their buybacks. So again, expectations don't come on them. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Rima. But just pull up Asahi India Glass. That's the stock that's suddenly buzzing in trade as well in the last